Today we're talking about how to get an 800 credit score. What's going on, everyone? Josh is the name, Magnitude is the channel, and let's talk money. In celebration of hitting that coveted 800 credit score, I'm going to be talking about the benefits of having really good credit and also how to get it yourself, and it's not as hard as you think. Starting off with the benefits, benefit number one is that you get lower interest rates. If you have a really good credit score, lenders are going to look at that and they're going to say, hey, this person is really trustworthy. I'm going to give them the best rate possible to encourage them to borrow money through me because I know that I'm going to get my money back. You get lower interest rates on your credit cards, you get lower interest rates on your auto loans, your mortgage, any kind of debt that you can think of. You can generally get the best rate possible if you have an 800 credit score. Another benefit is that you are way more likely to get approved for a loan. Now, getting approved for a loan is never a 100% guarantee, but you can basically apply for loans with the assumption that you're most likely gonna get it. It's always good to have a really good credit score so that when you need a loan, you can get one 99% of the time. Another benefit to this is that you have more negotiating power. So say you took out a loan previously, you had a pretty high interest rate because your credit score wasn't great. Well, once you get a really good credit score, you can always come back to the person who loaned you the money, the bank, the credit card, whatever it is. You can ask them for a better rate. And they're going to be a lot more likely to give you a better rate if they know that you now have a better credit score and that you are now more likely to pay it back. The next benefit is that you tend to get higher credit limits. Demonstrating that you're really responsible with your credit means that you can get a lot more money at your fingertips if you need it, or whenever you need a loan, you can get more money out of that loan than you would if you had a low credit score. So if you have a high credit score, high trustability on paying it back, banks will want to give you more money because they know you'll pay it back on time, and they'll give you a lower rate because they're more confident that you'll pay it back. You won't get those penalties. Just like a lot of the other benefits that come through, it's all based on you being more likely to pay it back. Another benefit is housing approvals. When you apply to rent a place, most landlords are going to run a background check on you, and they're going to make sure that you have a good credit score because that means that you are more likely to pay your rent, and they're going to be more likely to approve you, especially if it's between you and one or two other people. That could be a tipping point, is whoever has the better credit score between all three. Also, when you get a mortgage, you're going to have a lower rate, so your cost of housing is going to be cheaper if you go the route of home ownership. You can also get better car insurance rates as a benefit to having a good credit score. Bad credit scores tend to get penalized with higher insurance rates when you are applying for insurance because the insurance companies see you as someone who is more likely to not pay your bill. And then the seventh benefit is bragging rights. We had a discussion about credit scores the other day at work, and it was really cool to be able to throw out that I was above an 800. Definitely got some oohs and ahs. It's just cool to be able to brag about that. So that is the seventh benefit to having a really good credit score of 800 or more. So now that we've talked about the benefits of having a really good credit score, let's talk about how to get there. Some of it's a lot easier than you'd think. A lot of it is just kind of some no-brainer things, but there are a couple things that are a little bit tricky. So let's go through the list and talk about what it takes to get an 800 credit score. Number one, and this one's probably the most obvious, is make sure that you're paying all of your debts on time. Pay on time 100% of the time. None of this 60% of the time I'll pay all the time stuff. Name that reference. A really easy trick to make sure that you pay every single time is to set up automatic payments. If you're trying to make sure that you pay manually every month, that's a lot of brain power to stay on top of, especially if you have credit cards that are due on different days of the month and they don't all line up on the same day. So just go ahead and do yourself a favor, set up auto payments, have it pull the full balance due every single month, and then you'll never have to worry about missing a payment again. Now, I've mentioned on other videos that I pay for everything with credit cards. I really like the points and the cash back. It's really valuable to me. I like being able to travel and see family for free or next to free with the points that I get from the travel credit cards. I love the cash back and using that as reinvestment money. I like to take that money and put it into the stock market or put it towards my emergency fund or even put it towards my real estate plans for the future. I really like using credit cards because there's so many benefits that come with it. I should also mention purchase protection. There's an added layer of that if you use a credit card. But what I do is at the end of the day, every day, I take all of the receipts out of my pocket, I input them on my tracking spreadsheet, and my spreadsheet makes sure that I have enough money in the bank to cover everything that I've spent that month. This way, I know that I'm never spending more than I have in the bank, and I don't have to worry when it comes time to pay those bills. I'm not gonna overdraft. Tip number 2 is limit your credit usage. People who have an 800 credit score tend to only use about 5% of the credit that's available to them. Most people think that 30% is good, and it actually is pretty good to stay around or under 30%. But to get to that 800 mark, you have to have around 5% credit utilization. Most people with 800 scores tend to have about $71,000 of credit available to them, but they only use $3,600 of credit per month. Step number 3 in building an 800 credit score is to diversify your borrowing. Paying on loans and credit from several different types is gonna do wonders for your credit score. You know, paying off student loans and a car loan and a mortgage and your credit cards all at the same time, that's gonna prove to the lenders and banks that you're really good at managing your money and you can cover all of those things at the same time. Now, the value of those loans on your credit scores tends to vary. Credit cards tend to be on the lower end, whereas car loans and mortgages, those help your credit score a lot more than a credit card does. Having all of these different types of loans is a really good idea because it helps lower your credit utilization score. Because you have a lot more credit available to you, your credit utilization ends up getting lower as you have more loans and you're paying those down. In fact, utilization is one of the most important factors when it comes to the credit score algorithms. Speaking of algorithms, if you wouldn't mind hitting the like button for the YouTube algorithm, that would really help me out a ton. Also, if you're not a subscriber yet, feel free to hit the subscribe button if you like this kind of content. I cover investing, frugality, entrepreneurship, all of the above. So make sure you subscribe with the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any new videos. Now, step number 4 when it comes to building your 800 credit score is that you have to have a fairly long credit history. The longer that you have had credit available to you, the better. Most people that have joined the 800 Club have had credit for about 22 years. Now, I haven't, so really cool that I've been able to hit that without having credit available to me for that amount of time. I've had credit for about 15 years, so it is doable with less years than 22. But the trick is that you want to get your first credit card as soon as possible, and you don't want to ever close that credit card, because having that credit card available to you and having that credit history tied to your account for as long as possible is going to count towards your credit score. And the 5th step when it comes to building up an 800 credit score is to make sure that you're limiting your credit applications. It's easy to think that it's a shortcut to just apply for as many credit cards as possible and up your credit limit, but that actually looks bad when it comes to the credit score algorithms. So you don't want to just apply for a ton of credit cards just for the sake of lowering your credit utilization. Most 800 score holders are only applying for a new line of credit about once a year. You don't want more than one hard pull on your credit every year. So you want to gradually increase your credit limit by applying for new loans and new credit cards sparingly. Like I said, once a year is a really good pace for that. So keep that in mind as you're looking to build your credit limit in order to lower your utilization. There you have it. Those are the steps to get the coveted 800 credit score. Now, is it completely necessary to get an 800 credit score? No. In fact, if you have a 750 credit score or higher, you're going to be able to get as good of a deal 99% of the time as someone with an 800 credit score. Really, it's mostly a bragging rights thing. Still really cool to be able to hit that number. And I know that there's a lot of people that want to hit that number. I know there's a lot of you overachievers out there. So there you have it. That's how you do it. If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. It'll really help out the channel a ton. And make sure you hit the notification bell so that you don't miss any new episodes. And I will talk to you next time. Peace.